Suburban police responding to a 911 call made from a woman who was hiding in a closet discovered the bodies of her parents and her brother. Darien police say that all three were the victims of a home invasion overnight. 3 other people inside the house survived. ABC 7's John Garcia is following the case live. He's in Darien tonight. John.
Kathy, Darien police tell us 25 detectives have been working on this case since very early this morning. They have already interviewed some 50 people. However, at this point, no one is in custody.
Forensic investigators returned to the home tonight, searching for any bit of evidence they might have overlooked earlier. The bodies of 50-year-old Jeff, 48-year-old Lori, and 20-year-old son Michael Kramer were all found on the main floor of the house. The front window was broken, apparently by the gunman as he entered or left the house. Police say they're confident it was someone who knows the family, not a random gunman.
I've been a policeman 32 years, and my experience is that this is not a random act. At 3 o'clock in the morning on this particular street, someone just didn't walk up and decide to start shooting inside of a house.
Certainly rests easier with the neighborhood to know that it was something targeted rather than random, but that said, it's horrible.
The Kramer's 25-year-old daughter called 911 as she hid in a closet inside the house. Their 29-year-old son and Michael's 17-year-old girlfriend were also in the home and heard the shots but managed to escape. Friends have left wreaths in the family's front yard. They recall backyard football parties and other get-togethers here.
Fantastic family. You couldn't ask for better friends.
Jeff Kramer owned a Cicero towing company where he was regarded as a workaholic but also a generous boss.
I really don't think I ever seen him say no to anybody. So, but yeah, it's just hard to believe.
Police have interviewed the 3 survivors and consider none of them a suspect. And they say none of them apparently caught a glimpse of the gunman either.
Anytime a horrific crime like this occurs in your community, you are frustrated and aggravated. This kind of thing shouldn't happen to anyone, and we're going to put the available resources that we have to come to a conclusion to this.
Well, the coroner is planning autopsies on the victims' bodies tomorrow. Police tell us that should help them determine what kind of gun was used and how many shots were fired. At this point, they have not recovered a weapon. Live in Darien, John Garcia, ABC 7 News. Ron, back to you.
All right, thanks, John.
Funeral services were held today for Jeffrey, Lori, and Michael Kramer. All 3 were murdered last week by a gunman who broke into their home in suburban Darien. Hundreds of people today turning out for the service, and ABC 7's Sarah Schulte was there as well.
Wearing the jersey of his younger brother's beloved White Sox, Anthony Kramer put his fist in the air as he and other relatives arrived behind the 3 hearses carrying the bodies of Jeff, Lori, and Michael Kramer. The hour-long funeral included a eulogy from a cousin and a homily from Father Edward Ward. The associate pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church in Darien says he tried to come up with some comforting thoughts for deaths that were so tragic.
Dying makes love urgent. When we lose through death loved ones, it makes us, I think, look at our own relationships kind of in a totally new way, especially when the death is sudden or unexpected.
Besides 29-year-old Anthony Kramer, among the 300 mourners were his sister Angela and a 17-year-old girlfriend of Michael Kramer's. All 3 managed to escape the Kramer's home the morning of the murders. Father Ward spoke with them prior to the funeral.
I didn't sense yesterday at the funeral home a whole lot of anger or hostility. I did sense people were kind of confused a little bit.
The funeral comes just 1 day after the 2 men charged with the Kramer murders were denied bond. Prosecutors say Jacob Nodarcy shot Lori, Jeff, and Michael Kramer multiple times at the urging of Johnny Borisoff. He is Angela Kramer's ex-boyfriend. Prosecutors say the couple were in the middle of a custody battle over their 13-month-old son, and Angela was the intended target. As relatives and friends helped carry the 3 caskets out of church, the funeral procession included a caravan of tow trucks. Jeff Kramer owned a towing business.
We're a pretty close group in the towing association, and we just show respect for each other in that way.
Firemen, police do the same thing. We're bringing out our trucks, showing them that respect, showing them that we all stand behind everybody here.
The procession went on to Mount Auburn Cemetery in Stickney for a private burial. Sarah Schulte, ABC 7 News.
And the 2 suspects in this case, Jacob Nodarcy and Johnny Borisoff, are due back in court on the 29th of March. They are eligible for the death penalty, but prosecutors have not decided whether they plan to ask for it.
Hundreds of people turn out this evening to pay their respects to Jeffrey, Lori, and Michael Kramer. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ravi Bajwal.
And I'm Karen Jordan. Visitation for the Darien family came on the same day the two suspects in their deaths were denied bond.
Here's ABC 7's Teresa Gutierrez with more on today's developments.
Visitation was held today until late this evening for 50-year-old Jeffrey Kramer, his 48-year-old wife Lori, and 20-year-old son Michael at the Hollowell and James Funeral Home in Downers Grove. All three were shot and killed in West Suburban Darien on Tuesday. It was standing room only at the funeral home.
I think they're on automatic pilot. It's a little overwhelming for them, although they knew they had this many friends, but to have them all come at once, it's a little much for any family. But a time like this, you need the support.
23-year-old Jacob Nodarcy and 28-year-old Johnny Borisoff, the two suspects charged with the murders of the three members of the Kramer family, appeared in court today and were denied bond. Prosecutors claimed that Borisoff convinced Nodarcy into committing the murders.
This was a very serious offense, a very gruesome crime scene. The investigation is going to be going on for quite some time.
We are maintaining Mr. Borisoff's innocence, that he's absolutely not guilty of these charges.
Borisoff's parents released a statement. "We stand behind Johnny, we love him, and will support him and are secure in his innocence." Nodarcy's attorney would not comment about the case. However, today in the courtroom he said, "I just kind of have to shake my head over what's going on here." Prosecutors say Borisoff asked Nodarcy to kill the Kramers, especially their 25-year-old daughter Angela, who escaped by hiding in an upstairs closet and calling 911 on her cell phone. The funeral director said that he has never seen such an outpouring of love as he has for the Kramer family, and that this is exactly what they need at this time. He also added that Angela Kramer, the daughter who survived the deadly killings, is holding up as well as can be expected at this time.
She's got the support of her brother and grandparents, aunt and uncles, and they're doing okay.
Prosecutors say that Borisoff was involved in a custody battle with Angela over their 13-month-old son, Nicholas. Our media partner, the Daily Herald, obtained sealed court documents that indicate a court hearing was to be held this week in the case, but the documents don't shed light on any contentious issues. Borisoff has an alibi. He was at the Empress Casino in Joliet gambling with his brother at the time of the murders. Teresa Gutierrez, ABC 7 News.
Charges are filed in the shooting deaths of Jeffrey, Lori, and Michael Kramer of Darien. And prosecutors say the ex-boyfriend of daughter Angela Kramer talked a friend into committing the crime early Tuesday morning. Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Jordan.
And I'm Ravi Bajwal. Both men now facing murder and conspiracy charges. And tonight, we are learning more about a possible motive.
ABC 7's Ben Bradley is joining us now with the latest on the story. Ben.
Karen, Ravi, prosecutors say a father who is in the midst of a bitter custody battle with the Kramer's 25-year-old daughter plotted the murders and an alibi, using a friend as a, quote, tool to commit the crime.
Two young men, both without previous violent criminal records, bury their heads as Darien police whisk them away to jail. Prosecutors say 28-year-old Johnny Borisoff spent much of the last month plotting with Jacob Nodarcy to kill Borisoff's ex-girlfriend and her family.
Borisoff and Nodarcy agreed that the home would be entered in the early morning hours while Borisoff would be seen in the company of another individual and be on tape, so he'd have an ironclad alibi for the time of the murder.
Our news partner, the Daily Herald, reports Jacob Nodarcy has confessed on videotape to being the trigger man. Shortly after being arrested at his parents' home in Florida, Nodarcy told police they could find the gun and the clothing he wore to commit the crime in a dumpster in Terre Haute, Indiana. Prosecutors say Borisoff asked Nodarcy to kill his ex-girlfriend Angela, her parents Jeff and Lori, and their son Michael.
It is alleged that during the course of the murder spree inside the Kramer home, Nodarcy looked specifically for Angela but could not find her as she was hiding in a closet, and it was Angela who made the 911 call to the police.
Borisoff's attorney says his client is innocent, telling the Daily Herald the claims and charges against Johnny are ludicrous and are a figment of the imagination of a mentally unstable person. Despite the boldness and brutality of the crime, prosecutors do not allege Borisoff paid Nodarcy to commit the killings. Nodarcy lived in this countryside two-flat owned by Borisoff's uncle. Back in Darien, the charges bring relief but little comfort.
I just think how the daughter must feel to know that, well, maybe this is her ex-boyfriend that this happened from, and that's just something that everyone's going to have to live with the rest of their life.
This is a devastating experience. This isn't losing one family member. They've lost 3 family members. They're devastated.
The 1-year-old son Borisov shared with Angela Kramer was never in danger. Prosecutors say he was with Borisov's family when the murders occurred. Ravi and Karen, the state's attorney, will ask for no bail for these 2 men when they appear in court tomorrow morning. There are indications the prosecution may go for the death penalty.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks.
The investigation into a triple killing in Darien now involves a 3rd state. Authorities recovered evidence in Terre Haute, Indiana, as the prime suspect in the case appeared before a judge in Florida. Jacob Nodarcy waived extradition and is expected to be back in Illinois soon.
Police here have also been questioning an ex-boyfriend of the daughter of the couple who was killed. ABC 7's Ben Bradley has been following developments. He joins us live from southwest suburban Darien. Ben?
Cheryl, within an hour of the murders, a source tells the Sun-Times that suspect Jacob Nodarcy met with the ex-boyfriend of one of the survivors. That ex-boyfriend is right now being questioned here at the Darien police station. It is a meeting that reportedly took place at a Joliet casino, lasted several minutes, and was actually captured by casino surveillance cameras.
I'm not going to fight extradition.
Are you going back with them voluntarily?
Yes.
With those words and his signature on an extradition order, Jacob Nodarcy indicates he is cooperating with authorities. Information led police to search a dumpster at an IHOP in Terre Haute, Indiana. They removed several items and walked away carrying an evidence bag for a gun.
We sent 2 crime scene technicians and a trooper to the IHOP here in Terre Haute and did locate a substantial amount of evidence that we believe is connected to the triple homicide in Darien, Illinois.
The ABC 7i team has learned a .40 caliber Glock, believed to be the murder weapon, was bought here at Midwest Guns in Lyons. We've learned police have video of the purchase a week before the murders. Tonight at the home where Jeffrey, Lori, and their son Michael Kramer were killed, surviving family members have been allowed back inside. A source says they had a locksmith open the family's gun safe to see if anything was missing. Nothing was. At the Darien police station, detectives are wrapping up day 2 of their interrogation of the ex-boyfriend of the Kramers' 25-year-old daughter, Angela. The 2 have a 1-year-old child together. Our news partner, the Daily Herald, reports they were fighting over custody matters. Angela was home during the murders and hid in a closet. While the father of her child reportedly has a strong alibi, real estate records indicate his family owns property on this same block in Countryside where suspect Jacob Nodarcy lives. Just a little bit about how you're helping in the investigation?
No, we don't have any comment.
Investigators are also talking with those who know the ex-boyfriend. Police can only hold a person for 72 hours before they either have to file charges or release the person. That clock runs out on the Kramer daughter's ex-boyfriend tomorrow morning. We're live in Darien tonight. Ben Bradley, ABC 7 News. Cheryl?
All right, Ben, thanks for that update.
The man police called the prime suspect in the shooting deaths of 3 family members in Darien heads to court this morning in Florida.
Authorities found 23-year-old Jacob Nodarcy in Lehigh Acres near Fort Myers yesterday. ABC 7's Jason Knowles joins us now live from Darien with new details about how Nodarcy may be linked to the Darien victims. Jason?
Well, good morning. Our news partner, the Daily Herald, is reporting that another suspect is in custody, Angela Kramer's ex-boyfriend. Of course, Angela Kramer is one of the victims who escaped, and police say that this ex-boyfriend is in custody. They are questioning him, but that he does have an alibi, saying that he was gambling on a riverboat at the time. But they also say that he may be connected to the prime suspect. At a hearing this morning, a judge will set 23-year-old Jacob Nodarcy's bond, and the DuPage County Sheriff will begin on extraditing him back to Illinois. He was arrested on an obstruction of justice warrant, but police call him the prime suspect in the Darien triple homicide. Police caught up with Nodarcy at his parents' home in Lehigh Acres, Florida, 1,300 miles away from the crime scene.
Gives us a sense of relief, for sure. We could sleep easy at night knowing that something's happening.
The arrest is welcome news for the friends of Jeffrey and Lori Kramer and their son Michael. The 3 were found dead in their home early Tuesday. 3 others in the home were able to escape. Darien police are not saying what Nodarcy's connection to the Kramers may be. He previously worked as a service technician at several car dealerships, including this BMW dealer in Westmont. Neighbors of the Kramers tell us they've never seen or heard of No Darcy before.
Obviously, they must have been onto something pretty quickly if they found someone that fast, right? So let's just get this over with. For the sake of the Kramers and their family, their extended family.
A police bulletin that went out said that No Darcy was armed, dangerous, and suicidal, but he was arrested without incident. And Judy and Jose, his grandmother in Tinley Park has been quoted as saying that he has a heart of gold. We're live in Darien. Jason Knowles, ABC 7 News. Back to both of you in the studio.
All right, Jason, thank you very much for that update.
A man described by authorities as the prime suspect in the shooting deaths of 3 members of a southwest suburban family is arrested. 23-year-old Jacob No Darcy was captured 1,300 miles from the crime scene. Police are not saying how he is connected to the case.
As ABC 7 News first reported this afternoon, No Darcy was found at his parents' home in Lehigh Acres, Florida, which is near Fort Myers. The killings happened in Darien yesterday morning, and that's where ABC 7's John Garcia is live with the latest from there tonight. John.
Kathy, Jacob No Darcy is scheduled to appear in court in Florida for the first time tomorrow morning. DuPage County authorities are expected to begin extradition proceedings as well. He has not been charged in connection with the Darien homicides. However, authorities there have impounded his car, though they tell us they have not yet searched it for evidence. Investigators returned to the Kramer home tonight, combing for evidence apparently to build their case against 23-year-old Jacob No Darcy. They have no comment tonight, but authorities in Lehigh Acres, Florida, arrested No Darcy this afternoon on what they call an unrelated obstruction charge. They say, however, he is the prime suspect in connection with the Darien murders.
The family members were cooperating. He was sleeping in the van and didn't realize that we were there, and he was able to be taken into custody without incident.
Darien police are offering no information about No Darcy's connection to the family or possible motive for shooting 50-year-old Jeffrey and 48-year-old Lori Kramer, as well as their 20-year-old son Michael. The gunman got into the Kramer home early Wednesday morning, shot the 3 victims execution style, according to sources, leaving 3 others hiding inside the house. A day later, police take No Darcy into custody in Florida.
This is Southwest Florida. Florida in general is a very big hiding spot for fugitives coming down from the north. It's very large state, transient, easy to blend in, and obviously in this case, a lot of family members come down this way, so it's an easy place to come and hide.
No Darcy previously worked as a service technician at several car dealerships, including this one in Westmont. Neighbors tonight tell us they've never seen No Darcy here before, and the crime makes no sense to them.
I think it's one of those undescribable experiences. You know, you would never expect something like this, and certainly not to that family.
No Darcy's grandmother lives in Tinley Park. She told the Chicago Tribune that she just had dinner with him on Sunday. He seemed normal. She describes him as quiet and mild-mannered, and she says she was shocked to hear that he'd been arrested in connection with this crime. Live in Darien, John Garcia, ABC 7 News. Kathy?
Okay, John, thank you.
Police are searching for a car that may have been used in a home invasion that turned deadly yesterday in suburban Darien. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. That car was spotted in Florida.
Now, 3 family members were shot and killed inside of their home early Tuesday. 3 others who were inside of the home at the time were not injured. ABC 7's Ben Bradley joins us live from Darien now with more details. Ben?
Linda, the husband and father who was among those murdered here ran the family towing business, and this morning we've learned that the police suspect in this case had a knack for auto repair and an interest in the auto industry. It's unknown at this point if those 2 are connected. That suspect reportedly has family in Florida, so police think that may be where he's headed. The search for a family's killer now focuses on Florida. State troopers there and the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office report receiving a bulletin asking them to be on the lookout for a 23-year-old man from Countryside driving a 1994 BMW Coupe. A car matching that description may have been spotted around 1 a.m. on a rural road near Jasper, Florida. It hasn't been seen since. Police back here in southwest suburban Darien won't say what led them to identify this man as a possible suspect,
in the murders of Jeffrey and Lori Kramer, along with their 20-year-old son, early yesterday morning inside the family's home. The police bulletin cautions officers the suspect may be suicidal and warns them he is believed to be armed with a .40 caliber Glock. Darien police are not commenting this morning after the DuPage County State's Attorney asked Darien and police in Florida to not issue any more updates to the media. We're live in Darien this morning. Ben Bradley, ABC 7 News. Linda?
Ben, thanks very much. Suburban police responding to a 911 call made from a woman who was hiding in a closet discovered the bodies of her parents and her brother. Darien police say that all three were the victims of a home invasion overnight. 3 other people inside the house survived. ABC 7's John Garcia is following the case live. He's in Darien tonight. John.
Kathy, Darien police tell us 25 detectives have been working on this case since very early this morning. They have already interviewed some 50 people. However, at this point, no one is in custody. Forensic investigators returned to the home tonight, searching for any bit of evidence they might have overlooked earlier. The bodies of 50-year-old Jeff, 48-year-old Lori, and 20-year-old son Michael Kramer were all found on the main floor of the house. The front window was broken, apparently by the gunman as he entered or left the house. Police say they're confident it was someone who knows the family, not a random gunman.
So I've been a policeman 32 years, and my experience is that this is not a random act. At 3 o'clock in the morning on this particular street, someone just didn't walk up and decide to start shooting inside of a house.
Certainly rests easier with the neighborhood to know that it was something targeted rather than random, but that said, it's horrible.
The Kramer's 25-year-old daughter called 911 as she hid in a closet inside the house. Their 29-year-old son and Michael's 17-year-old girlfriend were also in the home and heard the shots but managed to escape. Friends have left wreaths in the family's front yard. They recall backyard football parties and other get-togethers here.
Fantastic family. You couldn't ask for better friends.
Jeff Kramer owned a Cicero towing company where he was regarded as a workaholic but also a generous boss.
I really don't think I ever seen him say no to anybody. So, but yeah, it's just hard to believe.
Police have interviewed the 3 survivors and consider none of them a suspect. And they say none of them apparently caught a glimpse of the gunman either.
Anytime a horrific crime like this occurs in your community, you are frustrated and aggravated. This kind of thing shouldn't happen to anyone, and we're going to put the available resources that we have to come to a conclusion to this.
Well, the coroner is planning autopsies on the victims' bodies tomorrow. Police tell us that should help them determine what kind of gun was used and how many shots were fired. At this point, they have not recovered a weapon. Live in Darien, John Garcia, ABC 7 News. Ron, back to you.
All right, thanks, John.
A court hearing was held this morning for one of the men charged in the murders of 3 family members in suburban Darien last month. ABC 7's Jason Knowles is live at the DuPage County Courthouse with more on that story. Jason?
Well, good morning, Sylvia. Jacob Nadarsi pleaded not guilty to that 22-count indictment. Now, most of those charges were murder charges, and Nadarsi was quiet for most of this hearing, except when he pleaded not guilty. He was holding his head down, and his attorney did most of the talking. DuPage County prosecutors say 23-year-old Jacob Nadarsi from Countryside murdered 3 members of the Kramer family in the beginning of March. Jeffrey, Lori, and their son Michael Kramer were all shot to death in their Darien home after a home invasion. Today in court, Nadarsi's attorney waived reading of the 22 charges and he pleaded not guilty. Investigators say Nadarsi was recruited by 28-year-old Johnny Borzov to carry out the killings. Borzov shares a 1-year-old son with Angela Kramer, one of the victims who escaped the attack. Allegedly, Borzov wanted Nadarsi to kill the Kramers over a custody dispute. Coincidentally, that custody hearing was today as well, but nothing happened. It was continued until Monday. Borzov pleaded not guilty to his murder charges last week, and this morning, Nadarsi's attorney talked to me after the hearing.
Well, the state presented a 22-count indictment. It was not totally unexpected. It included murder charges, conspiracy charges, home invasion, so wasn't unexpected, like I say. We pled not guilty. I see this as the first step in a process. The process will probably take quite a while. We'll take it step by step and see where the process leads us.
Two of Darcy's friends were in court today. They refused to talk to me on camera. They do say that they do love him and they do not understand how he could be accused of such a horrific crime. They say that they were going over to visit him in jail and they do not want to talk on camera. Also, we want to mention that none of the Kramer family was in court today. We're live at the DuPage County Courthouse. Jason Knowles, ABC 7 News. Sylvia, Jose, back to you.
Jason. Thank you very much.